AITA for leaving after finding my girlfriend's group chat about using me? My name is Jordan. I am 29, and I work as a data analyst for a medical billing software company in Columbus, Ohio. It is not glamorous, but I am good at it. I spend most of my day building dashboards for people who say they want clean numbers, and then panic when the numbers are clean enough to tell the truth. After years of splitting apartments with guys who treated dish soap like a communal dream instead of a household item, I finally had my own place. It was a quiet one-bedroom on the west side with a second-hand couch, a thrift store coffee table, and a kitchen drawer full of takeout menus I almost never used. I also had a little balcony with 2 folding chairs and a planter where I was failing to grow basil, but succeeding with mint. I was careful with money in a way some people found boring. I kept receipts and labeled folders. That sounds sad until your car insurance randomly double charges you. I meal prepped on Sundays. I got genuinely excited when the grocery store app gave me $8 off chicken breast. I drove a used Honda that made one weird sound in winter and no weird sounds in summer, which I considered a personality trait. For the last 11 months, I had been dating Kendra. Kendra was 28, sharp, funny, and good at making a boring room feel like something might happen. She wore big earrings, changed her nail color constantly, and could walk into a brewery where she knew nobody and leave with 3 new Instagram followers and a bartender calling her by name. She lived across town in one of those newer apartment complexes. It had package lockers, a gym nobody looked sweaty enough to use, key fob entry, and a lobby coffee machine she talked about like it was a concierge. When we met, she was coming out of what she called the worst financial spiral of her adult life. Her hours had been cut at the dental office where she worked reception. Her car needed brakes. Her phone bill was late. She said she was embarrassed even telling me. The first time I helped her, it was $68. She was sitting on my couch with one knee pulled to her chest, staring at her phone. We had just eaten turkey chili I had made too much of. She had been laughing 10 minutes earlier about how I portioned leftovers like I was feeding a boarding school. Then she got quiet. What happened? I asked. Nothing, she said, which actually meant something. I waited. My phone bill is past due. It is stupid. I get paid Friday. I am just tired of being behind on everything. I offered before she asked. That became the pattern, though I did not see it yet. I sent the money through Venmo with the caption, "Phone Rescue." She leaned into me like I had hung the moon. She told me I was her safe place. That sentence did something to me. I am not proud of how much. No one asks for $7,000 all at once. They ask for $68 with a shaky voice and a promise that Friday will fix everything. After the phone bill came groceries because her debit card supposedly glitched at Kroger. Then gas because she had to get to work. Then a car insurance gap. Then half her rent because her paycheck was short. Then an old ER bill she said had gone to collections. Then a vet bill for a cat she had given to her cousin 2 years earlier, which she explained in such a complicated way that I nodded just to stop feeling dumb. The Venmo caption stayed cute at first. Gas rescue. Rent bridge. Payday promise. You are the best. She was grateful in the beginning. She cooked dinner at my place once, though she left every cabinet open like she was trying to ventilate the plates. She stuck a yellow note on my fridge that said, "Thank you for being steady." I kept it there for months, even after the corners curled. Then gratitude became assumption. At restaurants, the check would land closer to the middle. She would keep talking with her eyes on her friends, Tessa or Maya, not even looking at the bill. At Target, she would tell me to grab something and promise to Apple Cash me later, but the transfer would never come. When I reminded her, she would apologize and say she had been drowning in stress. Drowning people do not like being asked for itemized receipts. That is what I told myself. The first time I asked to see a bill, she did not yell. Yelling would have been easier. She got small. "You don't trust me?" she asked. "It is not that," I said. "I'm just trying to understand what is due and when. Maybe we can make a plan." "A plan," she repeated, looking at me like I had offered to put her in a kennel. "I make plans for my own bills too." "Jordan, you make love feel like a spreadsheet." That shut me up. It was not fair, but it landed exactly where she meant it to land. I had always worried I was not exciting enough for her. I knew I was not the guy who turned a Tuesday into an amazing story. I was the guy who checked parking signs twice. She made me feel chosen, and then she made me feel like being chosen came with maintenance fees. When I hesitated, she did not ask directly. She just looked wounded until I volunteered. One Thursday in March, she came over after work and stood in my kitchen while I chopped onions for a stir-fry. She was wearing a cream sweater and had fresh highlights with warm caramel pieces around her face. "Your hair looks nice," I said. She touched it automatically. "Thanks." Tessa had a gift card she was not using. 2 hours later, while we were eating, she told me she might have a utility shut-off. "How much?" I asked. "I don't even want to say it." "Kendra, $380. I put my fork down. "Can you show me the notice?" Her face changed. "I didn't know I was dating an auditor." "I am not auditing you. I am asking what I am paying." That sentence is exactly why I don't feel safe with you sometimes. The onion taste went bitter in my mouth. I told myself maybe I had sounded harsh. Maybe practical people did not know when to put the clipboard down. I sent the money the next morning. That night, she posted an Instagram story from a restaurant downtown where the plates looked like someone had arranged 6 bites of food with tweezers. There were cocktails with flowers in them and a video of Tessa laughing with her mouth open. Kendra's caption read, "Needed this." I stared at it from my couch with the TV paused. My first thought was not anger. It was defense. Maybe someone else paid. Maybe it was an old photo. Maybe the utility notice had scared her, and her friends were cheering her up. Maybe I was becoming the kind of boyfriend who policed everything. I had a full-time job and somehow felt guilty for wondering why someone facing a utility shutoff had fresh hair highlights. 2 days later, the group chat happened. Kendra had taken a picture of us at dinner. It was one of those half-candid photos where I was mid-blink, and she looked perfect. I saw her forwarding it while we were in her apartment lobby waiting for the elevator. Her building smelled like coffee and whatever expensive candle the leasing office used to make the rent prices feel less extreme. My phone buzzed. I looked down and saw a message from a chat called Brunch Witness Protection. At first, I thought it was some iPhone glitch. Then messages started dropping in. "Tessa, he looks like he apologizes to automatic doors." "Maya, Tessa, stop." "Tessa, no, I mean it. He looks like he asks permission to order ranch." "Kendra, he does if I look sad enough." I froze right there by the package lockers. Kendra was still looking at her own phone, smiling. Another message came through. "Tessa, soft little ATM came with overdraft protection." "Kendra, be nice. He is funding my healing era." Somebody sent a string of laughing emojis. Then Kendra's head snapped up. Her smile vanished. A second later, the chat disappeared from my messages. She had removed me as fast as her thumb could move. "Are you okay?" she asked, a little too quickly. "Yeah," I said. My voice sounded normal, which surprised me. I stayed another 20 minutes. I kissed her forehead when I left. I drove home with both hands on the wheel and no music on. When I got inside, I sat on my couch in the dark. My phone buzzed. "Kendra made it home?" She included a heart emoji. It was from the exact same person who was laughing at me 10 seconds earlier. I did not answer right away. I opened my banking app instead. That was the first night I stopped trying to feel better and started trying to see clearly. At work the next day, I was useless. A dashboard that normally took me 40 minutes took 3 hours. I kept clicking the wrong cells and forgetting what filter I had applied. Around 2 p.m., Luis found me near the break room coffee machine, staring at a paper cup like it had personally disappointed me. Luis was 31, worked in compliance, and had the calm expression of someone who had already survived the thing you were just now realizing was a problem. We were not best friends, but we talked enough that he knew Kendra's name and knew I had been helping her out financially. "You look like a spreadsheet formula hurt your feelings," he said. I laughed once badly. He leaned against the counter and asked what had happened. I gave him the edited version. Money stress. Weird jokes. Feeling like maybe I was overreacting. Luis listened without making the face people make when they already know the ending. Then he asked, "When was the last time she checked on you and did not need something?" I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. He nodded like my silence had answered for me. "Need can look like intimacy when you are starving for appreciation." "That is a little too accurate for office coffee," I said. "I have been there." He threw his cup away. "Don't win the argument. Protect yourself." That night, I made a spreadsheet. For once, the spreadsheet was not me being cold. It was me coming back to myself. I pulled Venmo history, Apple Cash transfers, bank payments, card charges I could identify, food delivery orders sent to her place, grocery runs where half the cart was hers, and subscription renewals for accounts she used more than I did. I did not include every dinner because I did not want to be petty. I did not include gas for driving to her place. I did not include the concert tickets I bought because I had wanted to go too. Even being conservative, the total hit $7,418 in 11 months. I sat there with the laptop open. The TV was paused again, and my apartment was lit only by the screen and the stove clock. The number did not look like generosity. It looked like a second rent. My stomach felt cold. No single payment had seemed big enough to panic over. $68, $120, $380, $400 just until payday. Together, they told a story I had been too embarrassed to read. Kendra called while I was staring at the total. "Hey," she said. "You have been weird. I am tired. Are you mad about something?" I almost said yes. I almost asked about the group chat. I almost gave her the chance to cry, deflect, and make me apologize for having eyes. Instead, I said, "Just a long day." She sighed. "Okay. Well, I had a long day too, but sure." There it was. The little hook. The invitation to comfort her. I did not pick it up. "Sorry to hear that," I said. The silence on the line stretched. "Wow," she said finally. "Good talk." She hung up. 10 minutes later, she texted me a screenshot of an electric bill with the account number cropped out and half the page hidden. The amount due was $380, but the date looked strange, almost like the image had been saved and resent more than once. "Kendra, this is what I was talking about. Since apparently I need evidence now." I did not respond. I saved it in a folder named Utilities. The next morning, Maya messaged me. I did not know Maya well. She was Kendra's friend, quieter than Tessa, and usually the one who suggested stopping after everyone had already crossed the line. We had talked at a few dinners. She worked at a salon, had a dry sense of humor, and always looked like she wanted to leave 20 minutes before she actually did. Her message said she was not proud she had stayed quiet. Then she wrote, "You should see this. I am sorry." A screenshot came through. It was from the brunch witness protection chat. At the top was a pinned note titled Jordan Budget. It was not a budget I had made. It was a budget for me. The note read, "Say he is acting cold. Mention how your ex never made you feel like a burden. Tell him you don't feel safe. Cry but don't ask directly. Let him offer." Under it were messages. "Kendra, he gets weird when I ask directly, so I just tell him I feel unsafe, and he folds. It is almost sweet if you don't think about it too hard. Tessa, girl, he has spreadsheet energy. Use it. Kendra, I am. That is why I am not broke. Tessa, soft little ATM." Kendra reacted with a laughing emoji. I read it once. Then again. Then I set my phone face down on the kitchen counter and stood there until the refrigerator clicked on. There are moments where anger comes hot. Mine did not. Mine came cold and clear. It was like my body understood before my heart did that this was not a misunderstanding. It was not stress. It was not awkward jokes. It was a system. Maya sent another screenshot. "Tessa, did he cover the rent thing?" Kendra, most of it. Aunt Linda already helped, but Jordan doesn't know that. Maya, Kendra, what? I still needed money. Tessa, don't tell Jordan he basically paid Devin back. He will get weird. Kendra, exactly why I didn't tell him. Devin was her ex. I knew the name because Kendra had once described him as financially chaotic and emotionally lazy, which felt incredibly ironic in hindsight. I typed back to Maya asking what Devin was paid back for. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Maya, vacation deposit from before you two were serious. A non-refundable cabin trip. She owed him half. I put the phone down again. The rent emergency I had helped with, the one where she cried in my car and said she might lose her apartment, had partly gone to reimburse her ex for a trip I did not know existed. I did not cry. That almost made me feel worse. I just felt completely foolish in a clean, fluorescent way. At lunch, I called my mom. Denise is 54, a nurse, and the kind of woman who can tell you the harsh truth while handing you leftovers. My dad died when I was 19. He had been a good man, but tired most of the time, the type to stay in bad situations because leaving felt impolite. My mother loved him, but she had no patience for pretending endurance was a virtue all by itself. I told her enough of the story. I did not read every humiliating line, but I shared the reality. She was quiet for a while. Then she said, "A person who loves you does not need you broke to feel secure." I closed my eyes. "I feel like an idiot," I said. "Being fooled hurts," she said. Staying fooled is a choice you still get to stop making. That night, I did not go to Kendra's. I did not answer her calls. I texted her that I was working late, and then I worked on the only project that mattered. I exported bank statements. I downloaded Venmo records. I saved screenshots into folders with boring names like rent, utilities, Kendra payments, and group chat. I changed passwords for Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, and the grocery delivery account she had somehow become the main user of. On the streaming account, I found profiles for Tessa and someone named Bree. That explained why my recommendations had turned into true crime, dating shows, and a documentary about luxury handbags. I locked the credit card she had saved in her food delivery app and requested a replacement number. The card lock notification popped up on my phone with a clean little sound that felt better than it should have. I checked every bill. Nothing was jointly owned. No shared bank account. No lease together. Thank God for the part of me Kendra called anxious. The only messy thing was a parking add-on at her apartment complex. Months earlier, she said she needed a second parking fob for when I stayed over because guest parking was always full. I had signed the add-on form and put my card down for the monthly charge because it was only $45, and I was there often enough to justify it. The next morning, I called her property manager. Leasing office, this is Marcy. Hi, my name is Jordan. I am calling about a parking add-on at the complex. I am not on the lease, but I believe my card is attached to the parking charge. Marcy sounded like she had handled 6 breakups before breakfast. She asked for the unit number. I gave it to her. Keyboard clicks echoed over the line. You are not on the apartment lease, she said. You are listed as responsible for 1 additional parking fob through the end of the billing cycle. How do I remove myself? Return the fob and sign the cancellation form. Billing stops next cycle. We don't prorate. That is fine. The resident will be notified that the add-on is removed. That is also fine. Marcy paused. It was not a warm pause exactly, but a human one. Bring the fob during office hours. Don't leave it with anyone. I won't. I returned it on my lunch break. The lobby coffee machine hissed behind me while Marcy slid the form across the counter. She did not ask questions. She only cared about signatures, billing cycles, and ensuring the plastic fob was safely in her hand. I appreciated her more than she knew. Kendra noticed the first subscription issue that night. Kendra, did Netflix log you out too? Me. I changed my passwords. Kendra, why? Me. Cleaning up accounts. Kendra, that is weird. I did not answer. 2 minutes later, she sent another text. Kendra, did I do something? I looked at the message for a long time. Then I put my phone in the drawer beside my bed and went to sleep badly. On Friday, she invited me to brunch for Tessa's birthday. Under normal circumstances, I would have said no. I had seen enough. But the invite came with a little voice note. Babe, please come. I know we have been off, but I don't want it to be awkward. Tessa can be a lot, but she likes you. Also, it would mean a lot if you showed up for me. For me, that phrase had done so much unpaid labor in our relationship. I went. I did not go to perform, to explode, or to win anyone over. I went because Kendra had spent months making me feel like a coward for needing clarity. I wanted to end it in the exact room where she thought I would keep playing my part. The brunch place was downtown, full of exposed brick and plants hanging from the ceiling in that way restaurants do when they want $18 for eggs. The menus were QR codes. The mimosas came in flavors like lavender pear and blood orange basil. The server kept coming back with the forced patience of someone watching a table order round after round while avoiding eye contact with the check. Kendra was sweet from the second I arrived. There he is, she said, sliding over so I could sit beside her. She squeezed my hand under the table. Her nails were glossy red. You are being so quiet today. Don't be weird. Tessa smirked across from me. Jordan, we missed your spreadsheet energy. Maya looked down at her water. Happy birthday, I said to Tessa. Thanks, she said. Don't worry. I will let you approve the budget. A couple of people laughed. Not everyone. Kendra shot me a look as if to say, see? It is harmless. Be cool. I was cool. That was the strangest part. My hands did not shake. My voice did not crack. I ate half a breakfast sandwich I could not taste and drank coffee that had gone lukewarm. The check came in a black tray and sat at the edge of the table like a dare. Nobody reached for it. Tessa leaned back. So how are we doing this? Kendra picked up the tray, glanced at it, made a little face, and slid it toward me with 2 fingers. Babe, she said, smiling. Can you grab this? I will get you back. The table stayed loose for one more second. It was one last second where everyone expected the old version of me to fill the silence. I pushed the tray back to the center. No, I said. I am done being the group project. The silence hit so fast it felt physical. Kendra blinked. What? Tessa laughed, but it sounded thin. Okay, dramatic. I reached into the inside pocket of my jacket and pulled out 3 folded pages. It was not everything. I did not bring private messages or anything meant to humiliate for sport. It was just the Venmo totals, a list of direct transfers, and one cropped screenshot of the pinned Jordan budget note. I placed them on the table. Kendra's face went white, then pink. Maya closed her eyes. I looked at Tessa first. You can call me cheap after you explain why there was a pinned note about which insecurities to press. Tessa's mouth opened. Then it closed. Then I looked at Kendra. I saw enough. My cards are locked. The subscriptions are off. The parking add-on is canceled after this billing cycle. Anything not legally mine is your responsibility now. Kendra whispered. Are you serious? Yes. You brought papers to my best friend's birthday? You brought me here to pay for people who laughed at me. The server appeared at the worst possible time. Are we ready to split that? Or separate checks? Maya said quickly. Tessa snapped. Wait, this is between you two. Don't drag us into it. I looked at the mimosa flight in front of her, then at the check. I didn't. I stood up. My chair scraped the floor, loud enough that 2 tables looked over. I did not give a speech. I did not call anyone names. I did not wait to see who picked up the papers. Kendra followed me outside before I reached my car. The air was damp and cold. It was the kind of Ohio spring morning that could not commit to being spring. Jordan, she said behind me. I kept walking. Jordan, stop. I stopped beside my car. She came around in front of me with her arms folded and her eyes bright with anger. What the hell was that? That was me not paying. You embarrassed me. You did that before I got here. Her jaw tightened. So you are punishing me because my friends made stupid jokes? No. Then what? Because I vented? Because I was stressed? I looked at her. I really looked. For months, I had watched her face for signs of sadness, panic, or need. I had responded to tiny changes like they were weather alerts. Now I saw something else entirely under it all. It was just irritation that the remote control had stopped working. You kept a note, I said. A note about how to make me feel guilty enough to offer money. Her eyes flickered. That was Tessa. You replied to it. It was a joke. You used it. Her anger cracked into tears so fast I almost believed them out of habit. I was drowning, she said. I didn't know how to ask. You knew exactly how to ask. That was the problem. She wiped her cheek hard. I thought you wanted to be someone I could lean on. I did. Then you made me load-bearing. She stared at me like she could not decide which version of herself to use next. Then came contempt. You know what? This is why I didn't tell you everything. You make help humiliating. You act generous and then keep score like some bitter little accountant. There it was. It was one more attempt to hand me a costume and make me wear it. I am not arguing with a version of me you built so you wouldn't have to feel guilty, I said. She stepped closer. You are really going to throw us away over jokes? No. You threw us away and kept the receipts in a group chat. For a second, she had nothing to say. Then panic arrived. What about my rent? She asked. The words came out before she could make them prettier. I unlocked my car. Ask Aunt Linda, I said. Her face changed again, and that told me everything I needed to know. I drove away without looking back, which sounds much cleaner than it actually felt. My chest hurt. My hands were stiff around the steering wheel. I was not proud or triumphant. I was just tired deep in my bones. That afternoon, Kendra sent 11 texts. First, she was angry. You are disgusting for doing that publicly. Then, she sounded wounded. I can't believe you think I am some monster. Then she was practical. Can you at least cover the parking until I figure it out? Then soft. I panicked. I didn't mean the jokes. You know me. Then sharp again. You are going to regret treating me like this. I answered once. I am not discussing this anymore. Do not contact me unless it is about returning my spare key. She called twice. I did not pick up. The next week was not dramatic, which almost made it harder. There was no movie scene collapse. No screaming outside my apartment. No viral social media post. No grand revenge. There were just emails. Your card has been removed from DoorDash. Your password has been changed. Your subscription has been canceled. I received a notification from my bank confirming the replacement card had shipped. I got a final receipt from the apartment complex showing the parking fob return. They were clean little administrative acts. Tiny doors closing. Kendra tried new angles. She emailed from work after I blocked her number for a day. She said I had abandoned her during a difficult emotional time. She said she had only joked because she felt ashamed. She claimed Tessa exaggerated everything. She said Maya was jealous and trying to ruin her friendships. Then Maya texted me one more time. I am leaving the chat. I should have sent it sooner. I am sorry. I wrote back. Thank you for sending it. That was all. I heard pieces of the fallout through Luis, who somehow knew someone who knew Tessa's roommate. Columbus is not a small town until you are trying to avoid somebody. The cabin weekend got canceled because the deposit never got finished. The brunch bill had been split badly and angrily, with Tessa complaining that she should not have to cover relationship drama mimosas. A few of Kendra's friends started asking why she had told them I insisted on paying for things when the screenshots made it clear she had been working me. Tessa defended her loudly for about 3 days. Then Kendra asked her for money. Apparently, that friendship developed boundaries overnight. The same people who laughed when I paid got very quiet when she asked them to step up. 2 weeks later, Marcy from the apartment complex called. Jordan? This is Marcy at the leasing office. I am just confirming the parking add-on has been removed from your card. The resident has been billed directly going forward. Thanks, I said. She also needs to return any unauthorized copies of access devices, if applicable. I only had the one fob. You have it. Then you are clear. You are clear. I wrote that phrase on a sticky note and left it on my desk for 3 days. The spare key came back in a padded envelope with no note. It was just my key wrapped in a napkin from a coffee shop near her apartment. My mother picked me up for dinner that night because she said I sounded too alone for a Thursday. We went to a diner she liked where the booths were cracked and the waitress called everyone honey without sounding fake. I ordered meatloaf even though it was too much food. My mom watched me push mashed potatoes around my plate. You expected to feel better when the key came back, she said. I guess. But you feel embarrassed. I nodded. She took a sip of iced tea. That part hangs around a little. I keep thinking about how obvious it looks now. It looks obvious now because now you know. I looked out the window at the parking lot, watching headlights slide over the wet pavement. She called me an ATM, I said. I had not told my mother that exact part yet. Her face tightened, but her voice stayed even. Then she never deserved access to your account or your heart. I almost laughed because it sounded like something from a greeting card if anyone else had said it. Coming from her, it sounded like a hospital discharge instruction. After dinner, I went home and deleted the food delivery app for a while. It was not because I blamed the app. It was because her address popped up first every time, and I was tired of small things surprising me. I started therapy 2 weeks later. On the intake form, I checked the box for relationship stress and felt embarrassed, like I was turning in homework late. The therapist did not flinch when I explained the money. She did not call me stupid. She asked what being needed had felt like before it started feeling like being used. That question took me longer to answer than I expected. I changed my routines. I stopped going to the brewery where Kendra's friends showed up. I moved my Sunday grocery run to an earlier time. It was not because I was hiding, but because mornings were calmer and the store had better produce. I kept cooking too much food and freezing portions. I kept the receipt folders. I kept the balcony chairs. For a while, the empty second chair bothered me. I would step outside with coffee and see it sitting there, angled toward mine, waiting for someone who was not coming. Then one evening in June, I put my feet on it while the sun went down behind the neighboring building. The men had taken over the planter completely. It was aggressive and healthy. I still had 2 chairs out there. The difference was that I no longer thought an empty one meant I had failed. Months later, I could open my bank app without feeling sick. My balances looked like mine again. My apartment felt quiet in the way Kendra used to complain about, but now the quiet did not feel like evidence against me. It felt like proof that nobody was turning my kindness into a bill while laughing in another room. I never posted the screenshots. I never sent a mass explanation. The people who needed to know already knew, and the people who wanted a different story were never going to be convinced by more evidence. Kendra lost access to my money, and with it, the version of herself she had been financing through me. Her friends did not all abandon her overnight. But they stopped treating her chaos like entertainment when they realized it might cost them something. The landlord billed her. The utility company billed her. The delivery apps asked for her card. Life became very interested in the details she used to call humiliating. As for me, I did not become colder. I still help people. I still pick up checks sometimes. I still believe generosity matters. I just do not confuse being useful with being loved anymore. Love should not require a receipt, a rescue plan, or a group chat full of people laughing behind your back. And when somebody needs you broke to feel secure, the kindest thing you can do for yourself is close the account. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.